Another practical application of how picture thinkers makes them so different from what are often called the straight line thinkers is sequencing. Now, a straight line thinker effectively takes a piece of knowledge and builds it. So here's their first piece of knowledge, you add to it, and then you add to it, and then you add to it, until you progress to where you now need to go seek new knowledge, often seen as the pinnacle of education. So it's very stepped and it's very forward thinking. So it's also very straight and predictable. So you know the journey, you know your start point, you know each step as you progress along the journey. Very predictable, very repeatable. Now, picture thinkers are very much in the moment. For example, if you say to me road now, and I'm in a good mood, I might create this long winding road wandering down a nice garden with mountains and a pond and people playing on the park. For example, you said road to me in 10 minutes time when I'm being dictated to or told what to do. This picture of road might come into mind with a big wall down the side, so I feel I'm locked into a corridor. Now, both those are very much in the moment. They're not linked. This was true for me 1 minute ago. This is true for me 2 minutes later. They're completely different because they're based on in the moment. There is no start point and end point. There's only in the moment. And that has its advantages, as does this one, but it also has its disadvantages, as does this one. And what I found as I've got older is invariably when this process is running out of steam, kick into picture thinking, and when picture thinking runs out of steam, kick into sequencing. And they seem to be able to jump from one to the other as a way of solving complicated problems. But it also means that the educational requirement of picture thinkers is completely different, because it doesn't occur to them to learn in a straight line. It's only in the moment. So, for example, I'm a perfectly good speller, but I can't recite the alphabet. Whereas this straight thinking would say you need to know the alphabet before you could spell. Whereas that's not the case for me, but it is the case for people who think like that. So I've got different educational needs here. I need to be able to learn to read and write, but the way I learn to read and write needs to be different to the way this process is run to teach and read and write. This also, for me anyway, explains what can appear to be very dramatic mood changes. If you put me in a very high energy place, my road, if you said road to me, would be like this. It'd be all over the place. Whereas if you said road to me just when I'm going to bed, it would be more like a gentle river going down the flow of the path alongside. So my pictures are very much dependent on the context that I'm in. So if I need to be calm, I need to be in a calm context. If I need to be hyper, I need to be in a hyper context. So the way to affect my mood is to change the context in which I'm in. Whereas the sequencing people have more control, more order in their emotions, because they're internalized more. Their behaviours, their learnt patterns that the child behaves to. So they'll say, I've got told off, so they go back, how do I not get told off, do this? And it's consistent every time. Whereas here it's very much in the moment, and that creates a different educational environment that's required for both. And that is how, when I explain to people what the different needs are, this seems to work for me.